Welcome to MMA on the Rocks. My name is Bill Welker. You are listening to episode 286 of the podcast. Unless you're joining us live on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, if you want to catch the show live and you never seem to make it because we're so sporadic about when this thing goes live, it's unpredictable. Just like a knee injury in the main event of a cage fight. But if you want to catch the show live, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, follow on Twitter at MMA on the Rocks, or follow the show on Facebook and turn on your notifications so you know when the show is going live, like right now. Today's Sunday, May 15th, 1 day removed from UFC Vegas 54, I want to say. UFC on ESPN 36, if you're keeping track that way. Jan Blachowicz and Aleksandar Rakic going at it in a light heavyweight contenders match in the main event. Before we get into any of that, let me introduce my other half around here. All the way from the wild world of New Jersey, the hot car salesman, Jeff, the animal, Wilson. Jeff, what's going on this Sunday evening, my friend?
Bill, I'm thinking with inflation and the fact that it's basically impossible to get anything shipped over from other countries. I'm thinking of maybe selling my car, but I gotta find another one that I like first. Because Bill, you've been in my car, you know it's awesome. The AC works, which is far better than the previous car that I owned that you were in, Bill, in which the AC did not work. So we were sweating.
Yeah, we were cutting weight in that. What was it, a Saturn?
Yeah, dude, that's good. I'm surprised you remember. It was an orange Saturn.
That orange Saturn sauna.
Dude, it was awesome. The heat worked perfectly fine. It's just the AC, the summer, like you said, we turned it into a sauna. But Bill, before
if Charles Oliveira had that car, he wouldn't have missed weight last week.
Oh yeah, dude, he could have just sat in my car for like an hour and he would have dropped that half pound easy. Could have talked about churros or something. But but Bill, enough about me. Bill, you're back from another weekend at Disney. So Bill, as per usual, I need a damage report here.
All systems are in pretty decent condition here. I'm putting a lot of miles on the old Welker mobile here. And by that, I don't mean my minivan. I mean, like, my actual body, my vessel. But, the trick is, like, I feel like I'm getting exercise because I'm constantly walking. I'll average, like, 20,000, 22,000 steps when we do the parks, and then try to eat pretty healthy, but then balance that all out with, like, drinking heavily to cope with the crowds and, like, just the general Disney vibes in general. But I gotta say, it's really fun. I enjoy it, especially because Ariana's at the age now where she, like, kind of gets what's going on, and she'll, like, plan out the day at the park, like, depending which park we go to, she knows which ride she wants to go on. And the best part about it, Jeff, is she's, like, pretty practical. If she's like, I want to go on the Peter Pan ride next, and I'll look up the ride on my phone, and it's a long wait, and she'll be like, oh, it's okay, we could just go on it later or whatever. She's not like one of those kids that's like, I need to go on it now, and then we're waiting for an hour and a half to ride Peter Pan. So it's good she's kind of practical about it in that way. And then I pack a bunch of healthy food so I don't spend too much money, but still manage to come back, like, just broke every weekend. I always think of, like, the Joe Exotic from Tiger King. He's like, I'm never going to financially recover from this. Like, I think about that every time I get home from Disney. Like, even though we pack our own food and, like, we do everything, like, pretty frugally, it's still like that mouse just knows the way to your wallet.
Yeah, dude, I can't even imagine, Bill. I mean, you know me, Bill. I'm terrible with money. Um, so I'd probably blow my life savings in probably like 2 days at Disney.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, especially because you can like you can link your account to like a wristband and then just
God.
scan that thing. It doesn't even feel like you're spending money. But that's why I don't link it that way. I just I pay every time, so I feel it. Like it.
Bill, I think that's the move.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to start doing cash actually, which I don't know if they still take cash now at Disney. I think everything is contactless ever since COVID, but yeah, it's cool. Now is the first time where you can actually like high five the characters and stuff. Again, like they allow that again. It used to be like you had to take a picture with the character and they're standing like behind the ropes and you can't get close to them. But now you can go up and give them a high five and a fist bump and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool that she's old enough to be aware of all that now. And you know what weirds me out, Jeff, is like the grown adults who wait online to meet the characters and then they go up and like start having conversations with them, like start telling Mickey Mouse about their day. And I'm standing there with my 4-year-old daughter and she's looking at me like, Dad, does this lady know that it's a guy in a costume?
Oh man.
But I got a comment from Mark about the ice cream beers. So at Epcot, they have one of my favorite things. It's called a Kirin Frozen. So
Who's
for those who
Kieran
don't,
Frozen?
yeah, Kirin Frozen. So Kirin
Oh,
is
was he
the.
on the Contender series?
It sounds like he could have been. Kirin Frozen fighting out of Biloxi, Mississippi. uh, no, so Epcot is the whole thing is it's called a World Showcase where they have 9 different countries that are kind of spread out and represented there, and you can go into each country and they have foods and drinks from those regions. Like they have margaritas and tacos in Mexico, and they have um you know like lagers and stuff in England, and fish and chips and things like they would find in England. So in the Japanese pavilion, they have like a bunch of sushi and chicken katsu and things like that. And like a lot of the food's really good, but they have a Japanese beer called Kirin, and they have it on draft. And what they do is they take frozen beer. It's like frozen beer foam, and they put it on top like a soft serve, Jeff. And basically, like it tastes like beer foam, but it's ice cold. I'm looking for a photo to show you of it real quick. Um, and it's just one of my favorite things. It looks like an ice cream. So I'll hold it up for you here to
Oh,
see.
it kind of looks like like a float a little bit.
Yeah. So the frozen foam keeps it stays on top, and you kind of drink the beer through it, and it keeps the beer cold the whole time. And it's delicious. I enjoy Japanese beer. Um, especially on a hot day like it was. It's getting to be where it's like too hot for me to
Mm.
be outdoors. Um, but yeah, Kirin Frozen, highly recommend if you plan on making a trip to Epcot. I posted that on Twitter yesterday, and I actually had somebody respond and say, "Oh, I'm planning a trip to Epcot next month. Like, I'm glad you posted this, so I know to go grab one of these." And I responded with a few other recommendations of things that I suggest checking out. Like the Norway Pavilion has a really good beer, Jeff. It's called Einstok. Um, and it's just like a light wheat beer. I would compare it to like a Blue Moon or something like that, but it's much better. And the last time we went to Epcot, actually, they didn't have any Einstock because of things that are going on in the world. They were having a hard time. They actually import all these things, all these different food and drinks from the countries that they originate from. So the last time we went, it was out of stock.
You beat me by like a half second, dude.
It was brewing. You were brewing that one.
Yeah. Oh man. Um, Bill, it's funny you mentioned the weather because it's finally starting to get like humid up here because it's
Hmm.
been cold for the last 12 years.
Yeah.
So so it's nice. The weather's finally warming up. And Bill, it's just in time because the AC in my classroom just got fixed, and I didn't want the kids uncomfortable and complaining and yada yada. So so luckily it got fixed about 2 weeks ago. So the timing couldn't be better, Bill. It's
That's
getting
good.
humid. AC is good to go.
That's the last thing you need is like a bunch of, what are they, preteens?
Yeah, they're like 11, 12 year olds.
Yeah, a bunch of preteens at the end of the school year with no air conditioning. That sounds miserable. So it's a
Yeah,
good
dude.
thing they came through and fixed that just in time.
Oh yeah. I mean, I put in two work orders about 6 months ago, so I'm glad it was done in a timely fashion.
Well,
And
it's a good.
yeah, sorry to cut you off, but I can't blame the 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 school or the school district at all because they had to order this part, and it just took long because, like you said, things going on in the world, you know, under our current regime. So everything,
Regime.
yeah, everything costs more. So diesel's going up in price. So everything takes forever to get here, and now it's expensive to bring anything over. Bill, I might have to buy Amazon Prime again.
Yeah, it's useful. I mean, for all the shortages going on, like Amazon seems to still be fulfilling everything. So they're like immune to whatever kind of supply chain crisis is going on. Like they found a loophole, I guess. Um, but yeah, I guess it's a good thing you didn't put that work order in 5 months ago, because then it would have been fixed like when the school year was over.
Yeah, it would have been fixed in July.
Yeah, no good. That wouldn't have done you any good. The summer school kids will be nice and cool though. Um, man, imagine you get stuck in summer school and there's no air conditioning.
Dude, I never understood it. Like I never did summer school or anything. Like even as a student, like why would you want that? Like, dude, it's summer. It's the time where you're not supposed to be in school, hanging out with your friends. Like,
Hmm.
why would you want to be? Why would you want an extra month of school?
I almost had to do it once. I almost failed 10th grade math. Um, I just had like a terrible teacher though. Like he would put some problems on the board and then he would literally sit at his desk and play solitaire or some kind of card game on his computer. And if you had a question about something, he would tell you had to come to extra help. Yeah, that guy was a dick. And
Yeah,
that's why I hate math and I became an English teacher.
fair enough.
I actually like from that year on, I used to be pretty quick with math, like up until ninth grade, but that just like left a sour taste in my mouth. Like that, it goes to show like a bad teacher can make all the difference, just like a good teacher can.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was that. All right, I'm not even gonna say his name. I don't want to make him famous. Uh,
Dude, fuck that guy.
yeah. Um. In any case, Jeff, I suppose we could talk about some cage fighting now.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, this card, this was, we were saying this is a sneaky good card, Jeff. This card delivered, man. There were so many finishes. It's like I got to look up the bonuses here because um there were a couple that I would have given bonuses that I'm not sure got them. But let's start with the main event. Kind of a weird ending, and even more weird for the fact that like Rakic was winning the second round and then he had this injury, but then Blachowicz wins with this, freak TKO, and people are like, "Yeah, Blachowicz." I feel like most of the time people will be like, "Oh man, Rakic got robbed," but for whatever reason, this guy just like rubs people the wrong way. I'm not sure if something happened where like the MMA fan base just doesn't vibe with this guy, or if he did something, but I don't know what the story is there. But I got more of a sense like people were relieved that Blachowicz won, which is usually never the case in these kinds of endings. Am I wrong?
Um, yeah, dude. I mean, it seemed like everybody, was on Blahovich's side. Blachowicz is just a likable guy, man. But dude, like you said, Rakic was winning that second round. I kind of gave the first round to Blachowicz,
Mm-hmm.
but I was a little distracted during this fight. But dude, up until that point, Rakic was looking really good, but you got to give credit to Jan Blachowicz, man, because his leg kicks are nasty, dude. The commentary team was talking about maybe that's like an old injury or something. Um, the way that he put weight on it, but I think that was from just the leg kicks that Blachowicz was using in that first round. Because some of those were nasty, dude. You could hear them, like the mics were picking up the smack of Blahovich's shins up against Rakic's legs, man. But I felt like he came out really well in that second round, and then his knee just like something just moved in his knee, and at the end they slowed it down so you could see it, and you
Mm-hmm.
see like something move, and then it moves a little bit out of place, almost like a pulled muscle, but not a pulled muscle. It's just
Mm-hmm.
I'm it's kind of hard to explain. You got to go back and watch this one.
Yeah, to me, it looked like the patella came dislocated temporarily. Luckily, I believe it was nothing serious like an ACL tear or something like that that would lead to a really long recovery time for Rakic. But supposedly, he said 3 weeks ago in practice he had the exact same injury.
Hmm.
Um, so what can happen sometimes is like the patella, like the top part of the kneecap, it can just kind of pop out of place, and if nothing tears, like you're all right. It's just going to be sore for a few days. So hopefully that's the case. And that's what happened. And he doesn't have any real damage on there. But yeah, great point about the leg kicks. I mean, Blachowicz was attacking the lead leg of Rakic, but if you're getting your leg beat up, that affects your balance, So when you move, you're pushing off of that lead leg, and it might cause you to land funny on that rear leg, which is exactly what happened. The other thing was Blachowicz kept coming in with that body shot followed by the overhand. So I feel like that combination was causing Rakic to kind of flinch and back up because those shots were hurting him. Uh, I had it the same way as you. I scored the first round for Blachowicz. I thought he looked good in that round. I thought he was landing whatever he wanted to land, and obviously the second round, Rakic was kind of starting to run away with it. It looked like the fight was really going to go in his favor. Very similar to what Glover Teixeira did to Jan Blachowicz. He had that nice treetop takedown in that second round, and he was able to control Blachowicz on the ground and get him kind of frustrated. So he was doing a great job there. This is a great fight for as long as it lasted. And it was weird too because Blachowicz landed a nice combination and then Rakic stepped back and then there was the knee thing. Um, but yeah, it was weird because normally if something like this happened, people would be pissed, like, "Oh, that's not a real win." He didn't TKO him. Like he just got hurt. We got to run it back. I haven't heard any of that, Jeff. I don't know if you've got a different feed than me, but I've been I've been reading over the past 24 hours. I haven't seen anybody saying like, "Oh, Rakic would have won. This is bullshit." But I feel like people just like Jan and they don't like Rakic, so they're like, "Yeah, we're good with it."
I mean, I don't know if if like you said, if Rakic did something to the MMA fans or said something, but I think Blachowicz is just a likable guy, man. But yeah, dude, I was really impressed when it went to the ground because Blachowicz threw up his legs and had Rakic in a triangle. I was like,
Mhm.
holy shit, dude! Like, I mean, it looked tight for a little bit, and Rakic was able to get out of it. But for a second there, I was kind of hoping to see a triangle finish here, man. That would have been really cool. Because Blachowicz, these light heavyweights, they're so big they don't usually have to to attack submissions off their back. But it was awesome seeing it, man.
Yeah, I mean Blachowicz has a sneaky good submission game, and he's got a hell of a squeeze if he gets a hold of your neck. So yeah, I'm not surprised he's good off his back, and I was impressed with Rakic's wrestling as well, like a treetop takedown, which is when you do a single leg entry and lift the leg like way high up, like above their shoulders, and then kick out the leg that's still on the ground. That's not something that you see from the heavier guys.
It's so fun to see, though.
That's a small man's takedown move. Because you don't want to be lifting up those tree trunk legs of these light heavyweight dudes. That's no easy task. But Rakic made it look smooth. He made it look like borderline easy. But I challenge anybody to pick up the leg of a 230-pound man or whatever Blachowicz was last night, and pick his leg up over his head and see how easy it is. That's a feat of strength right there. And before I move on, Jeff, I just want to say I looked up the bonuses. So it looks like Katlyn Chookagian and Amanda Ribas got the fight of the night bonus. And then Ryan Spann got a performance of the night bonus for his submission win over Ivan Cutelaba, and the newcomer Manuel Torres also got a performance of the night for his knockout over Frank Camacho. And Mark is on here saying that Michael Johnson got shafted. I tend to agree. Michael Johnson looked phenomenal, and we'll get to that in just a bit. But let's cover the co-main event here first, Jeff. Ryan Spann. This fight was wild for the first 2 minutes or so. These guys were going at it. And Cutelaba is tricky, man. Like he's like wild with the strikes, but he's got like these sneaky trips and stuff too. And Ryan Spann touched him, and you could tell Cutelaba didn't like it. So he was like trying to get it to the ground. And once he dove in like towards the legs, Ryan Spann was able to lock up this kind of high elbow guillotine. Kind of pulled guard with it, but then, flipped over, wound up on top, and that thing was nasty tight. Give me your thoughts, Jeff.
Oh yeah, dude, this was an awesome fight for as long as it lasted, dude. Only lasted 2.5 minutes, but so much happened. Like you said, it was on the ground. And both fighters able to pop back up. And dude, like you said, man, Ryan Spann, he had such a nasty squeeze. Like as soon as he turned over and got on top of Cutelaba for that guillotine, like as soon as he turned over, Cutelaba was tapping, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Man, but like, dude, oh man, it was just such a good fight. And Bill, I don't know what it is about the guillotine. Its beauty is in its simplicity, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such a beautiful move, and like it's easy to hit. It's a bread and butter move. Bill, this made me want to go back and practice my guillotine, which Bill, you actually taught me. I haven't used it in a long time because nobody shoots in on me.
Because they know, kid, they don't want to mess with the sprawl, and they don't want anything to do with that guillotine. It is one of my favorite submissions. I can't lock it up the way Ryan Spann did with those long arms. He was able to like reach his arm all the way across and like, I don't know, he was almost like touching his elbow with his thumb. It's pretty wild the way he was able to snake that through. But yeah, this was a really fun fight, and I feel like Cutelaba has been having a rough go of it lately, which is unfortunate because he's such an exciting fighter. All right, so he had a win over Devin Clark in his last fight. He had a draw with Dustin Jacoby, and then it was the 2 fights with Magomed Ankalaev, the first one where he did like the rope-a-dope and got TKO'd, and then they had to do like the immediate rematch. And then he got knocked out for real. So yeah, rough go of it lately. But Ryan Spann, man, this dude, like a confident Ryan Spann, is going to be a dangerous guy to deal with. He was saying this was the first time in his UFC career he felt like loose during fight week, and he was just having fun. He's like hanging out with his brother and his team, and just in a really good headspace. So the division's got to be on the lookout for this guy.
Yeah, and Bill, this was one of my favorite things about this, Bill. I'm a comic book nerd. It was Superman versus Hulk. I mean, like, dude, the way they were going at it, I think, it could have been in a movie, man. Like, it was awesome. And Bill, I was talking about this last week, dude. When Ryan Spann's hot, he's awesome, dude. So if he can keep this up, man, string some wins together, I could see him in the top 5 within his next like 2 or 3 fights, man.
Yeah, for sure. This was another great fight, Davey Grant and Louis Smolka. I'm glad Smolka moved up to 135. I like him there. This fight I thought was all Davey Grant. I mean, Smolka landed a few shots here and there, but nothing that was really threatening, changing the momentum in his favor. Davey Grant was just kind of like picking him apart, and he throwing a lot of power shots, but really just kind of toying with Smolka. And the leg kicks are what added up. And in that third round, he dropped him with the leg kick. So he couldn't stand on the lead leg anymore. Dives in for a takedown. But then after the takedown entry, there was no follow-up. He just kind of collapsed.
Yeah.
Which to me signaled, like, I thought as I was watching it, the referee should have stepped in at that moment, because you see him drop, he can't stand on his leg. You see him shoot for the takedown, like, all right, maybe he's still in it. But when you see him give up on the takedown and just completely flatten himself out, the fight should be over at that point. Can't blame Davey Grant, though. I mean, he could have ended this a little more gently, like, all right, let's stand back up. But no, he followed Smolka down to the ground, and while he was flattened out, put him unconscious on top of it. Insult to injury. Davey Grant is a damn savage. But for me, this one could have been stopped sooner. Jeff, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, dude. Smolka looked like he just never got going, dude. Even in the before the fight, as he's pacing back and forth, he didn't seem like he was there, dude. Maybe his mind was elsewhere, and like Davey Grant was just better everywhere, man. Like you said, those leg kicks were paying dividends, and he just looked faster than Smolka. Yeah, it felt like Grant was just in a different league from Smolka last night, man.
Yeah, I mean, Davey Grant might look like Beavis and Butthead, but that dude can fight, man. He's vicious. I mean, You got a guy like basically sprawled out, like quitting in front of you, and he's like, "I see that you've given up, but I'm going to remove you from consciousness anyway."
Yeah, he put him out, man.
I mean, he was basically like at his feet, like, "Dude, I'm done," and he was like, "No, not yet." Put him out cold. All right. This was not the fight of the night for me, but I'm okay with the bonus going to it because I had Amanda Ribas winning this fight.
So did I. That's funny.
Yeah, I thought Katlyn Chookagian looked good, but she was just out of her element. And those first 2 rounds, I thought the ground control alone would have won the fight for Ribas. She was doing damage there. She was improving her position. She was in half guard or better for most of that ground control time, and most of it she was in side control, which is a very dominant position. The third round, she started to slow down a little bit, and Chookagian was kind of pouring on a little more volume. So I gave Chookagian the third round, but overall, I thought Ribas won this fight. Give me your take, Jeff.
Yeah, Bill, I'm in the same boat. I was really surprised to hear that Chookagian had won this one. He was, just controlled the ground game so well. And in the first 2 rounds, I didn't really see Chookagian offering a higher level than he was when it came to striking. Like you said, third round, absolutely gave it to Chookagian. I felt like she cranked it up a little bit. But, dude, those first 2 rounds, I thought the judges were giving it to Ribas. And, Ribas was really surprised, too, that the decision didn't go her way. So, yeah, this was a funky one.
Yeah, yeah, which is why I'm okay with the bonus going to them. So at least T-Bus gets an extra 50 grand. And this is another one of those cases of like, we got to do away with the win pay because then you're putting it in the hands of the judges to determine
Mm.
like who gets a full payday. Like, I think it's time to restructure this. Like, everybody takes a little bit less, but you're getting guaranteed money, you know? And I understand like how it started, like, oh, it's more motivation to win. It's like, well, the motivation to win is to keep your job and to move up on the card and try and work your way to pay-per-view points and stuff like that. Um so yeah, I get it. Like it was a close fight. The one thing I was impressed with was, and I think I lost you, Jeff. You you kind of blacked out for a minute, but until Jeff gets back, I'll say the one thing I was impressed with Kate Chookagian through those first 2 rounds is her dexterity on the bottom. So Ribas was getting those head and arm takedowns, and then she would get into like the side control, scarf hold position, and the way Katlyn was like throwing her legs over the top to try and take the back. A lot of people don't realize the flexibility and the dexterity that takes. Oh, welcome back, Jeff. I was just saying that the way Katlyn impressed me through the first 2 rounds was her dexterity and flexibility from the bottom, the way she was trying to throw her legs over the top of Ribas when she was in the side control scarf hold positions. Um, it was really impressive. I mean, she never really got there, but the fact that she's able to do that is that's some pretty freaky skills.
Yeah, dude, the scarf hold position, dude. For me personally, I hate getting caught in that. I feel like it's just such a weird position to get out of because all of your opponent's weight is on one side, so you feel like you kind of have to take the back to get out of it, or try to scoot out from under them, or like you kind of got to blast your way out sometimes and just hope for the best
Mhm.
when you explode up. But yeah, Bill, I apologize. I had to because my laptop started dying, so I had to really quickly plug in the charger, which was nowhere near me before the battery died.
It never is. That's always the case with these things. It's like you there are chargers around like all the time. Like they might as well just be dangling from the ceiling, and then right when you need one, they're nowhere in sight. It's just like it's like Murphy's Law, I guess. Um, yeah, so we're on the same page about that one. Performance of the night bonus went to Manuel Torres. I believe this was his UFC debut. Knocked out Frank Camacho. This was another fight where, like, Camacho landed a few things here and there, but I felt like he never shifted the momentum. And then when Torres put him down, man, it was just a beautiful knockout. Give me your take, Jeff.
Yeah, dude, this was a really fun fight as well. Very high paced, similar to Ryan Spann versus Ian Cutelaba.
Uh
But
huh.
dude, Bill, I was actually gonna text you after this fight, man. Torres looked great in there, and he's a big lightweight, dude. Um, so I think he's definitely one to watch. Um, but dude, this was a fun one. Frank Camacho's a really tough dude. So I think Torres is undefeated in his professional career so far. So
He is 13-2.
oh, all right, I might have been thinking of someone else on the card then. But dude, yeah, really good fight. Torres, he's young. I think he's like 22 or 23 or something. Um, But yeah, he's got a
He's
bright future, man.
27.
Dude, he's got a bright future, Bill. Um, but yeah, dude, it was a good performance, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
he's got some power at lightweight in his hands, dude. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, absolutely. To knock out Frank Camacho says you got to have some rocks in your hands. For me, this one was the fight of the night, Jeff. Alan Nascimento and Jake Hadley. I love this fight. This one was just, it was back and forth. It was great scrambles. It was super close. At one point it looked like Hadley was going to run away with it, and then at another point it looked like Nascimento was going to run away with it, and then it looked like Nascimento had nothing left in the gas tank, and then he pulled out of nowhere and started being dominant again. It had everything you would want to see in a fight. It had a good slugfest, good scrambles, good submission attempts. Both guys showed how well-rounded they are. What'd you think of this one?
Yeah, this was a really good fight. Michael Bisping was heaping the praises onto Jake Hadley here. And yeah, I think both of these guys got a really bright future, especially at flyweight. We've been talking about how flyweight, the division is kind of dried up. But this was a really exciting fight, man. And like you said, Bill, there was a round where, especially that first one where Jake Hadley was doing okay on top, was able to do some damage. So it looked like he was gonna, take the fight. And then Al Nascimento able to take control back in the second round. Just really exciting fight, man.
Yeah. And then Hadley came back at the beginning of the third, if I remember correct. And then it seemed like he was kind of getting the momentum back. And then Nascimento had to dig deep. That was a great fight. I thought that one was going to win fight of the night, but what do I know? Viviane Araujo, unanimous decision over Andrea Lee. The story of this fight came to be not the fight itself, but the cornering on Andrea Lee's side. I guess her cornerman, who I don't know if it's her cornerman or her boyfriend or whatever the relationship is there, made some derogatory remarks about Brazilian fighters. Did you catch any of this, Jeff?
No, I was trying to fast forward. I started the fights late, so I could fast forward through the breaks and stuff. But no, I did not catch that.
Yeah, so I guess so. I saw Twitter attacking the guy, and I saw the video clips. I don't watch with the sound on, so I don't know what's going on with the corners or anything. But I saw people sharing the clips, and I guess what happened was Andrea got poked in the eye, and her corner man said, "We knew something along the lines." I'm paraphrasing. "We knew this would be like this. We know the dirty Brazilian fighters, the dirty Brazilians, and are always up to these tricks," or whatever. So, people took that and ran with it and said, he's saying Brazilians are dirty, but I don't think he meant like Brazilian people are filthy. I think he meant like Brazilian fighters fight dirty, like with eye pokes and things like that. Either way, I'm not condoning what he said by any means. But I do think there was a level of miscommunication or misunderstanding there. I don't know anything about the guy. I don't know if he's, prejudiced or whatever. But I just know, like, I saw a lot of people jumping on it, and then when I listened to it, I didn't take it as he was insulting Brazilian people. I think he saw his fighter get fouled, and he was like, "Oh, these dirty fighters from Brazil. We expected this, whatever." And it was the heat of the moment. I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not condoning what he said, but I do think, I don't know, it was a little bit confusing. Yeah, he still shouldn't have said it though. However he meant it. Like, you don't need to put, he could have said like, "Oh, we knew she was a dirty fighter." You don't have to put a whole nation on the hook for one person throwing an eye poke. Any thoughts on that one?
No, since I missed it. But yeah, like you said, he could have phrased it differently. But dude, the story of this fight was just Viviane Araujo, um, laying down punishment on Andrea Lee, dude. Um, dude, oh man, it was just so bad. Araujo just had all the control time. Was just brutalizing Andrea Lee. Dude, I felt bad for Andrea Lee in there, man. If anything, I felt like her corner could have thrown in the towel.
Yeah, it was pretty one sided. So what do you think about Araujo against Amanda Ribas now? Now that Ribas has moved up to 125, they both have losses against Katlyn Chookagian.
Yeah, I think that's a good fight to put together.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
And I think Ribas definitely belongs in the division. I think she showed that. She got in there with the number 2 girl in that division and was able to take her down basically at will. Her striking's got to be cleaned up a little bit, but I think she found her home at 125. Michael Johnson, man, what a performance by that dude. It was like kind of an awkward 4-punch combination that ended with like a left shovel hook that knocked out Alon Patrick. But up to that point, Michael Johnson was looking good, man. His striking was looking crisp. He did get clipped a couple of times. He ate some big leg kicks, but at the end of the day, it was the hand speed of Michael Johnson on full display. And I got to agree with Mark Fellows here. Like, I think he probably should have got a performance of the night bonus. What'd you think, Jeff?
Yeah, agreed, man. Johnson looked really good in there. And like I said, Bill, I love Michael Johnson. He's always in exciting fights. He's not put on boring fights, man. But yeah, dude, it was funny because he was looking good in the first round, and then the second round, I think he got really comfortable. I was just like, yeah, let's just make this a brawl. And then that final combination was him brawling, which was awesome to see, man. It was nice to see the fire in him again because he had a streak of hot and cold in his last couple fights. But dude, that was awesome.
Yeah. On the other side of the coin, to me, Alon Patrick looked off his game. He looked like a little tight. Like he looked like very bulky. And he was kind of like lumbering around and he was overextending himself quite a bit. Every now and then he would kind of like explode with, some of those capoeira kicks and things like that. But for the most part, I felt like his movement was very labored. I feel like in the past, we've seen him look a lot more fluid. And I don't know if he was having an off night or if it was just the hand speed of Michael Johnson that was throwing him off. But in either case, yeah, Michael Johnson coming off a 4-fight losing streak. He hasn't fought since February of 2021. So yeah, I mean, this had to feel good, especially because he got finished a couple of times in that streak.
Yeah.
And 35 years old. So if he's going to make a run for it, this is going to be the last chance here. What do you want to see next for the Menace?
I don't know, man. I maybe someone ranked between like 11 and 15. I don't want to go much higher than that because, like you said, he's got 4 losses in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's tough, man, because Michael Johnson's been around the block a few times. I can't even think of who I.
Let's take a look here. I mean, Gregor Gillespie was just removed from the UFC rankings. A lot of people were saying that he got cut, but he confirmed that he has not been cut. He's just been removed from the rankings. So that might be a good fight. One of the best wrestlers in the division still. And Michael Johnson, incredible wrestler himself. So that would be a fun fight. Maybe someone like Matuz Gamrot or Brad Riddell.
Yeah, I like the Gamrot fight. I actually really like that one.
Or even like an Arman Saryukian. Like,
Hmm.
let's just see if Johnson has what it takes to make a run here, or let's not. you know, um, that could be a fun fight. All right, real quick, Jeff. The rest of this card: Virna Jandiroba unanimous decision over Andrea Hill. Tatsuro Taira unanimous decision over Carlos Candelario, and Andre Petroski with an anaconda choke put Nick Maximov unconscious with this one. No easy task. Just a minute and 16 seconds into the fight. That fight was pretty wild. Petroski snatched up that anaconda choke, and Nick Maximov is a good grappler in his own right. You got put to sleep. What are you gonna say? So, how do you want to sum up this card, Jeff?
Oh, dude! First off, this card was awesome. But out of those three fights, I'll give you two to watch. Definitely the Petroski fight because he had such a tight squeeze, man, and Maximov was out. It was actually the corner yelling at the ref to check if Maximov was out. So I think I don't know whose corner it was, but they definitely saved Maximov from some brain damage because of where his arm was. It was like on top of Petroski, so it kind of looked like he was like trying to do something to like get out of the position.
Uh huh.
But Bill, this dude Tatsuro Taira, I'm pretty sure, or Taira, I might be pronouncing that wrong. Bill, this kid is nasty, dude. He's like 22. He's the kid I was thinking of when
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned the other fighter who's 27, the Mexican kid.
Yeah.
But dude, Taira, 22 or 23 years old, fighting out of Japan. Bill, so well rounded. He looked vicious everywhere against Carlos Candelario. Had him in some really bad spots. Looked like he was going to finish Candelario because Taira had taken his back. But dude, especially at flyweight, man, he just looked well rounded. He was aggressive in there. Looked pretty good everywhere. I want to see more of this kid. Bill, I'm jumping on this kid's bandwagon right now, dude. I think he's like 9-0 with the win last night. But go check this kid out, man. Absolutely vicious against Carlos Candelario. I want to see what this kid's got.
Bold statements, Jeff. Bold statements. I like it. I like bold statements. Yeah, I thought it was a great card. We had some sneaky good fights, some great finishes, some controversy, some close decisions. Like it had everything you would want. Um, let's take a look at the upcoming week. If I have it here.
Oh, this
Um,
card looks good.
It does. I gotta tell you, I'm not crazy about this main event. Holly Holm and Katlyn Vieira. Um,
Oh yeah, me neither. But I think the rest of the card makes up for it.
yeah, like this might be one of those ones like I won't feel bad going to bed early, you know?
Well, Bill, you're fortunate because you might not have to. The main card starts at 7, my friend.
Oh, does it? Oh,
Yes.
thank you for that bit of information.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
Oh,
Oh
that's always good
shit, I
to
might
know.
actually miss this card. Uh, yeah, but I'm away this upcoming weekend.
Now where are you going?
Pennsylvania. Staying local, but I'm gonna be up in the mountains, so I don't know how well my Wi-Fi will be received.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll have to play it by ear. I don't have anything on this main event. I'm just like, all right, that's what it is.
Yeah, you can scroll down. I'm not
Yeah.
crazy about this one
Uh
either.
this co-main event I love. Santiago Ponzinibbio and Michel Pereira.
No,
This is a
this is the people's main event right here.
yeah, this is a fun fight right here. Um let let me pull up Pereira. I feel like he's been doing all right lately. Yeah, 4-fight winning streak. Ever since he stopped like
Break dancing.
the what yeah, like the wacky shit, and he's been actually like fighting smart game plans, and um he's been winning fights. Um I was about to say Ponzinibbio also on a 4-fight winning streak, but I just pulled up Pereira again. So Ponzinibbio lost a split decision to Jeff Neal. That was a close fight. And then he had a win over Miguel Baeza, and then he was knocked out by Jing Liang Li back in January 2021. But this is a fun fight, Jeff. I'm really looking forward to this one. This really is a main event for me.
Yeah, dude, Ponzinibbio is not scared to fight. Not only smart, but he's also not afraid to brawl, which I love about him. And Bill, like you said, Michel Pereira, ever since he cut the crap with all the nonsense and the the backflips and the walkout and stuff. Ever since he stopped doing that and focused on the fighting and the fundamentals, he's been nasty in there, dude. So he's gonna give Ponzinibbio a lot to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I love this fight. And then Jailton Almeida and Parker Porter is a fun heavyweight fight. But here's my sleeper pick, Jeff. Chidi and Njokuani against Dusko Todorovic. This fight, somebody's going to sleep. Todorovic, who I believe has a knockout win over Michel Pereira, and also is coming off a knockout win in his last fight. And Chidi and Njokuani is just so explosive, so fun to watch. This is the fight for me, Jeff. This is like that's the one I don't want to miss.
Yeah, both of these guys are going to bring a lot of power, but I think you're right. I don't think this goes past the second round, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So that's my sleeper pick. That's a fun one. And then your boys on this card, Jeff, Eric Anders,
There he
fighting
is.
Jun Young Park.
That's all I have to say about that. I just like his fighter nickname. I don't know why. It's like stupid, but it's also hilarious. But dude, Eric Anders, he's hot and cold, man. If he shows up, he can win. But I feel like there's so many fights that he lost that maybe he should have won or could have won. So it depends which Eric Anders shows up.
Sure. And Uros Medic against Omar Morales. Jonathan Martinez, who I feel like just fought like yesterday, is fighting again against Vince Morales. A lot of Moraleses says. Chase Hooper's on this card. He's fighting Felipe Diaz Colares. Yeah, and then a lot of relatively unknowns, but I'm always excited for those because those are the people who have the most to prove.
Yeah, actually, Bill, now that we talked about it, I'm not that excited for this card either.
But if you look at this picture that they have of Katlyn Vieira on, like she looks like she doesn't even want to watch this card. she's like, you're like, nah. She's like, I don't want to watch me fight Holly Holm.
Dude, and Holly Holm hasn't fought in a while. Did she have a kid or something? Or was she injured?
I don't know. She'll probably get a title shot if she wins this fight, though.
Dude, I was just thinking that. Just because, dude, she's been champion in. Was she champ at 145? I know she was champ at 135. But
she got like 5 title shots at 145.
Yeah, dude, and she's only had like 7 fights in the UFC.
Well, if we haven't just alienated all of our female fans, both of you, because you guys are still sticking around for the end of the show, you want to grab some MMA on the Rocks merchandise, you can do so through our friends at Team Reaper, reaper1.co. I realized that the last few weeks, the links I posted were not the correct links, so I fixed that, and you can order a MMA on the Rocks t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie. I don't think anybody will be ordering a hoodie anytime soon, but if you want to, promo code MMA Rocks 10 will save you 10% on your whole order. It's never too soon to start the Christmas shopping, Jeff.
Oh, absolutely. And, the way the economy is going with diesel prices skyrocketing, it's going to be super expensive to get your stuff to you. One, and two, it's gonna take a while. So if you order it now, you know, someone from either UPS or FedEx will have it delivered to you, hopefully by Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully. So you'd better start your Christmas shopping now, and you can start with our friends at Team Reaper and order some MMA and the Rocks merchandise, or you can support some local fighters. Team Reaper puts the money right in the pockets of the fighters. So if you're one of these people that's always saying fighters should get paid more, well, put some money in their pockets so they can, upgrade those nutrition plans and keep that diet in order and pay their coaches and everything they need to do to be successful in the sport. Yeah. This was fun. Kind of a light week. We're skimming in like right under an hour here, Jeff. Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Yeah, dude, Bill. I know that we've been talking about canceling the Netflix subscription, but before you do that, you have to watch Our Father, dude.
Okay.
It's about this fertility doctor
Is that with
who.
Mark Wahlberg?
No, it's a documentary.
Uh,
So
oh yeah.
yeah, so it's about this fertility doctor who used his own sperm to with his patients. So now uh, all these people who thought that they were part of their families are realizing that they look a little different, and then from the rest of their family, and now all the kids started to find each other, and they made a documentary about them trying to confront this doctor and just be like, what the fuck, man. Excuse me, Bill, this documentary is completely fucked, dude. You have to watch it, man.
I
It
love the
is,
review.
dude. It's, oh my gosh, man. Without spoiling anything, just it's just so, dude. I can't conceive this. I can't think of what would possess a human being to do something like this. But Bill, you gotta check it out, man.
Yeah.
It's so messed up.
Yeah. How narcissistic do you have to be to be like, you know what the world needs? A lot more me.
Dude.
I did see previews for that, and I was interested in it, but I'm glad to hear positive feedback from you. I'm definitely gonna check. I might watch that tonight. If I
Dude, yeah, do it. It's like an hour and a half, but it's well worth it, man.
is
Because
that's it. The whole thing's an hour and a half. It's not like a series.
right, yeah, it's just one thing, hour and a half. Claudia might fall asleep through it, but Bill,
I think she's asleep already.
that could all that yeah, it's like 10:30. Yeah, it's a possibility. Actually, it's closer to 11. But dude, you have to check it out, man. It is just so messed up, dude. I don't even want to give you any details because you have to see for yourself how
Okay.
messed up this is.
Yeah, I want to check it out. Might be a little too late tonight, but maybe I'll throw it on tomorrow. Make sure I get to my TV watching a little earlier. I started watching a series on Hulu, Jeff, called Candy, and it's kind of like a murder mystery series, I guess. It's a 5-part series. It stars Jessica Biel, and it takes place in the 80s, and they really nail the look of the 80s. It makes you feel like you're in 1980
Mm.
watching this series. And I'm 2 episodes into it. I think there's 5 episodes, and it's really good so far. It really kind of hooks you in. It has the cliffhanger at the end of every episode. But I gotta wait for the wife to be awake before I can continue watching it. But so far so good. I'm really into it. It's hard to hook me on a show because I'm just like, whatever. There's more of this.
Yeah.
I don't need how many episodes? There's 300 episodes of this. Nah, I can't keep track. Every time somebody asks me about Game of Thrones, I'm like, there's 900 characters in that show. I can't keep track of this.
Yeah.
That's I don't care how good the story is. I can't follow. I'm not gonna be taking fucking notes.
Mm.
I'm not gonna have post-its all around my TV so I can remember who's who and in the show. I just need something brainless, like Cheers, That's just, you could pick up at any episode and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You don't have to know
Word.
any of the characters. It's just one-liners in a bar. Like, I can follow that because I'm a bit of a Neanderthal, Jeff. But yeah, all right. So that's the TV recommendations. For anyone curious, I was drinking Buffalo Trace and lemonade throughout the show today.
Dude, that sounds awesome. I don't know why, but I want to try that.
It's so good. I love Buffalo Trace, but it's been like really hot and humid, so a little ice cold lemonade hits the spot. Bourbon and lemonade is like my jam in the summer.
No, I like it. It's like a guillotine. It's just the beauty is in the simplicity of it.
It's just right there. It practically throws itself at your feet, and you're like, "Yeah, bourbon lemonade." And he snatches this up. Yeah. All right. I guess we'll leave it at that. So grab some merchandise or don't. Either way, I appreciate you listening to the end. We figure out how to pull up the old ending video here, and that's all we got. So until next time, cheers, everybody. Goodbye.